Welcome back to another GPU mid-off video. This time we're going to be testing out 007 First Light. Alright, so it's going to be a fairly quick one as well. As usually in my other GPU mid-off videos, I usually go by 4 categories. It's going to be native performance on 4K, 1440p and 1080p. And then I usually do some ray tracing performance tests, which in this case, we don't have a ray tracing option in the game yet. There seems to be a path tracing update coming soon, but not now, okay? And then also upscaling performance, usually on balance settings, because balance is the middle point with their respective upscalers like XeSS, FSR, and DLSS. And then also, finally, what I do is frame gen performance. So before we jump into all of that, these are the GPUs that I usually test all these games on for this mid-off series. First one is the B580. The Intel reference version of the GPU. You can see all the specs on the screen while I'm showing it. And then for Team Red, we got the 9060XT 16GB. None of these cards are below 12GB, okay? Those are the best ones in the market. And then for Team Red, we got the 5060Ti 16GB version of the GPU by Zotac. All right, so everything is paired up with the same CPU, the i5-12400F, and 32GB of DDR4 memory running at 3200 MHz. So it's the same system across the board. And this one's a little bit interesting as well, because the Glacier engine, which the game is made up of, it doesn't support FSR4, unfortunately. So it's like stuck to FSR3. So that's also another thing. You might see some interesting scenarios here. And yeah. I'll talk about it while we are in that session of the video. So for now, that's about it. Let's see, man. It's going to be a quick little video. I'm just going to pass through it and see the differences in each of these manufacturers. So yeah, let's jump into it. All right, starting it off on 4K raster settings. As usual, you guys can see the settings across the board. Everything is maxed out on ultra settings. And using no upscalers, just TAA. The upscaler resolution is turned off. So it's native on all these different GPUs. And you can see I picked this scenario over here with this big meeting and everything going on. And you can see the B580 is actually holding up actually really well. About 20 FPS compared to the 9060XT and the 5060Ti, which are usually really better in terms of the performance in most other games. But here, the performance gap is pretty minimal, only like advantage about 5 to 10 FPS max. And the 9060XT is actually head-to-head with the 5060Ti in the scenario. Usually the case, But yeah, the gap is pretty minimal here when you take the B580 into the case. All of them are using more than 11 GB of VRAM, which is ideal for 4K. So yeah. Now we're moving on to the 1440p case. You can see all the specs on all of these GPUs as usual. And when you move into the performance side of things, side by side, you can see we are closing in on 45 to 50 FPS on the 9060XT and 5060Ti while getting 30 to 35 FPS on the B580. So now the margin is quite increasing, I might say. Yeah, now the gap is like 10 to 15 FPS instead of 5 to 10. So that's there, but you can see the VRAM usage is 10, like almost 10 or more than 10 GB here. So an 8 GB card is going to be a nightmare. So just to keep that in mind as well. But the 9060XT kind of pulls ahead, so it's better in raster performance. The AMD cards are usually better in the raster performance case. And then finally moving on to 1080p, and you can see all the specs over here. And finally moving on to the performance, you can see the 9060XT is like pulling more than 70 FPS compared to the 5060Ti, which is getting barely 60 FPS, and the B580 barely getting 45 to 50 FPS. So the 9060XT definitely is a winner here, comes to the native settings. Still using more than 10 GB of VRAM, except the 5060Ti, which uses almost 10 GB, but still more than 8 GB. So if you want to max this game out and get a stable performance, you definitely need a 12 GB card at the minimum. So yeah, 8 GB card is going to be a starter fest pretty much. So there you have it. 9060 XT wins this race on the native settings category. Now the final one is going to be just balanced settings on 1440p, because 1440p is the most used resolution in 2026. Seems to be the sweet spot for all these GPUs as well. This is a mid-range GPU class. I don't know if you can call it that, because the price differences these days, because of VRAM, you know what I'm talking about. Except the B580, which seems to be hovering around the same price range even from the beginning. So here we are. You can see this is where it becomes a little trickier, because the 5060 Ti and the B580 seems to be going head to head against in the balanced settings upscaling category, because in the DLSS for this game, it's native to 4.5 instead of 4. You don't have to go to the Nvidia app and override it in the settings. The game is inbuilt with the DLSS 4.5, which is, as you guys know, is a little intensive. Even though it's a Blackwell card, it is kind of intensive, and it looks way nicer compared to the FSR 3 that we have on 9060 XT and B580. Since we don't have native Intel XeSS support, both of the other GPUs are using FSR 3.1, which is a less intensive scenario compared to the DLSS 4.5 that we had on the 5060 Ti. But the image quality difference on 1440p on balance settings wasn't that bad, if you ask me, when I was playing it. So in this case, the 9060 XT is pulling way ahead, getting more than 80 FPS. So yeah, there you have it. That's gonna be it for this video, because there's nothing else to show you guys here. So no FrameGen, because FrameGen is only available on freaking Nvidia GPU in this game. Which is a shame. Not even FSR FrameGen. Really? Come on, guys. But yeah, that's about all I can show you guys in this comparison. And the clear winner here in all categories is going to be the 9060 XT. Even though it's an Nvidia favored game, clearly showing bias towards the Nvidia GPU here with FrameGen and all of that. So still the 9060 XT seems to be the winner in this category. So I think that concludes this video pretty much. Fairly short, straightforward video. What you guys think about it? Let me know in the comment section. The B580 is still a really strong card. I have no complaints for that card whatsoever. It's doing a pretty good job for its price range, and competing with these two GPUs, being a fairly new architecture to the gaming GPU world, it's doing a really good job. So yeah, and I always say it's the best bang for the buck for 12 GB card in 2026. So there you have it, guys. Hope you guys find this video helpful. If you did, leave a like and subscribe to the channel for more benchmarks and GPU comparisons like these. And yeah, we'll catch you guys in the next one. I probably will make some videos when the path tracing update comes out in this game. So yeah, stay tuned for that. We'll catch you guys next one. Take it easy and peace out.